So a couple months back, one of my Twitch mods, Quaid, used his channel points to make me review and watch one of the worst movies I've ever seen, Birdemic. And today, Quaid is back at it again as he's made me review and watch one of the worst zombie films I've ever seen, which is why we bring you today, House of the Dead. So you've probably heard of House of the Dead, but probably not this movie, rather the video game series which came out in 1996 and was credited with help popularize the zombie genre within video games. But unlike Resident Evil, which also popularized the genre, which actually got a good film adaptation, this unfortunately did not. This was directed by Uwe Boll, and if you've never heard of him, well, let's just say he's had a mixed bag career as a director. It also flopped hard financially. On a budget of $12 million, it only made $13.8 million. It somehow got 2 sequels, but they both debuted on the Sci-Fi Network and then went straight to DVD after, and to be honest, they didn't really have much to do with the plot of this movie. But also, to be fair, it's not like this movie had a plot to begin with, as it was just one big jumbled mess. This movie's basically about some college kids who want to go to a big-ass rave on an island, and then zombies show up and kill the ravers, and they're trying to pick the kids off, and there's this immortal guy, and zombies, and cop, and they kill all the good characters early, and it's a goddamn clusterfuck. But just how bad is this movie? Well, I'm about to show you right now as we review House of the Dead. So we start off with some cringe-lord narrator named Rudy basically telling us that all his friends died. So thanks for the spoilers, asshole. Those friends include Greg, his girlfriend Cynthia, as well as their friends Simon, Karma, and Alicia. They're trying to go to some big-ass island to go to the rave of the century, or the year, or the millennium, or whatever the hell, but unfortunately, the boat they were supposed to get on already left without them. They find a boat captain named Kirk, get it? Captain Kirk? Do you get it? As well as his first mate Salish, and try to pay them to take them to the island. The seamen are incredibly hesitant though, as the island's been nicknamed Death Island if they don't want to go there because it's named Death Island. But then Greg's like, yo, would you do it for $1,000? And Captain Kirk's like, sure. But then the sea police show up. I guess they're supposed to be the Coast Guard, I think, but they're just dressed like normal police, led by Casper. And Casper's like, yo, Captain Kirk, gotta do an inspection. Can you please come over here? And Captain Kirk's like, nah, son, and they dip the hell on out of there. So meanwhile, on the island, 2 horny teens are heading down to a beach, and the chick decides to get naked and go in the water and swim. The dude's like, nah, babe, that's too cold. I'm just gonna stay on the beach. So she's swimming in the water, and she almost gets ambushed by motherfucking sea zombies, apparently, but she's able to get away. However, when she gets back to the beach, though, she finds that her boyfriend is missing. So then she explores the island looking for him, and she ends up in this graveyard, the house in the middle of it, and she's like, alright, I'll just go in the house, because she's dumb as shit, I guess. And she goes in there, and she finds her boyfriend, yay, oh no, he's dead, oh god, there's zombies, and they kill her with the power of dramatic zoom in. But meanwhile, our crew has reached the island, and the kids go to explore while Captain Kirk and Salish decide to unload some cargo. They reach the rave site and find that everyone's missing, and there's bloody clothes on the floor, but hey, who cares? Free beer. Alicia, who I think they're trying to position as a smart character, is like, hey guys, doesn't it seem a little bit suspicious? And they're like, nah, it's fine. So meanwhile, Salish is still unloading that cargo, but unfortunately he's not gonna last long as he gets ambushed by the zombies. Back at the rave, meanwhile, Alicia, Simon, and Karma go out to look for the other ravers, while Greg and Cynthia decide to have sex. However, Greg needs to pee and totally doesn't have erectile dysfunction, so he leaves Cynthia alone. This proves to be a poor choice, as Cynthia also gets ambushed by zombies. Meanwhile, the unholy trinity arrive at that gravesite, and they're being stalked by a zombie that looks like Emperor Palpatine. And this is where positioning Alicia as the smart character doesn't work, because the other two are like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't go in this house, but she's trying to be all Velma from Scooby-Doo, so she's like, come on gang, let's go in that house. But actually, they don't find zombies in the house. Instead, they find Alicia's ex-boyfriend and our narrator, Rudy, as well as their friends Hugh and Liberty. Hugh and Liberty tell them and literally show them video evidence that zombies attacked and killed all the raiders. Like, they have video proof, but Alicia's like, that didn't happen. So they go back to the rave site to find Greg and Cynthia, and turns out Greg's been overturned inside a porta potty. They also find Cynthia, but oh shit, she's a motherfucking zombie. She then brings our main group down to 6 as she snaps Hugh's neck, but we immediately go back to 7 as Casper, the friendly policewoman, shows up and shoots her dead. Meanwhile, Captain Kirk also has some problems as he's dealing with motherfucking sea zombies. Luckily, he has like perfect aim though and just like headshots every single one of them. Our main group, meanwhile, gets ambushed by a zombie who tries a Jason Voorhees move on him, but doesn't work out very well for him. They find Kirk's boat, but then they see it's filled with sea zombies, and then comes an incredibly stupid sequence where Simon just jumps in the water, and then Casper just pulls a machine gun out of nowhere and starts shooting aimlessly into the water. Also, turns out Kirk's not dead. He's somehow perched on the island with a sniper rifle, which somehow seconds as a machine gun? Kirk also gets bit, but I guess in this universe that doesn't make you a zombie, so he's fine. Also, when kicking a zombie, Simon gets motherfucking zombie spit right in the face and starts melting his face off, but again, I guess in this universe that doesn't make you a zombie either, so he's also fine. You know, aside from his face being melted off. With Captain Kirk joining the fray, our main party has once again expanded somehow, as we are now up to 8. Casper and Greg, however, then decide to break away from the main group and go find Casper's crew on the other side of the island. And then, oh boy, about 40 minutes into this film, we finally get some complicated and bullshit backstory as Captain Kirk tells them the history of the island. So apparently, a priest named Castillo Sermano in the 15th century took over this island and killed the inhabitants, and also killed the captain and the crew of the boat he was on, and apparently he created the zombies, and apparently created an immortality serum, so he's still alive, I guess. It's the rumor at least, and this is just a whole bunch of bullshit. Meanwhile, the predictable happens to Greg and Casper as they get ambushed by Emperor Palpatine and friends. Greg almost gets away, but then he steps on a stick and the zombies get him, and thus Greg is dead and Emperor Palpatine is pleased. So Casper goes back to the group and tells them Greg is dead, so we're now down to 7, but I gotta say, none of them seem to care at all, except for Simon kinda. Hey, luckily for them though, Captain Kirk just happened to smuggle a fuckload of guns onto the island, so that's pretty convenient. One thing weird about this movie too is that at random points during this film, they just intercut random scenes from the video game in. Like, I'm not kidding. Just as they're like, as shit's going on, they just intercut video game footage. It's very strange. Like, we get it. It's based off a video game. But anyway, now that they have these guns, here comes the burial. Because my god, they just proceed to slaughter these zombies for almost 10 goddamn minutes. Like, this is a John Cena to every heel from 05 to 2015 type burial. Like, they just absolutely destroy these dudes. Near the end, Liberty's literally just kicking them to death, but they eventually catch up to her, and then Rudy just, like, lets her die. Like, he's watching her, easily could have saved her, and just lets her die, and now we're down to 6. Rudy also makes his way inside the house, and Casper tries to get in too, but some of these zombies have fucking axes, and they just hack Casper's legs off, and obviously she bleeds out, so now we're down to 5. We had 3 tolerable characters, Liberty, Casper, and Captain Kirk, and 2 of them are now dead. And to make matters even worse for the tolerable characters, Captain Kirk almost gets his leg ripped off by a zombie as the rest of them make it inside the house. So now we're in the house and things just get stupid. Simon's depressed because he's a model, I guess, and his face is melted so he's sad. So him and Karma start making out, and then Alicia and Rudy start making out. All the while, poor Captain Kirk is literally just bleeding out on the table in the fucking dining room. And then they find a book that's like an old ship's log, and one of the shipmates fucking wrote, oh, well fucking, what is his name? Castillo Sermano fucking killed a crew and the captain, but if he killed the crew, who the hell wrote the ship's log? Anyway, Captain Kirk, who's by far the smartest character in this movie, is like, you guys, you need to explore and find a way out of here, and I can't walk, so just leave me behind, and they do. Doesn't take them long to find something either, as they stumble upon the motherfucking zombie laboratory room. Yay! Inside this room, they find some unanimated zombies as well as some mutated blood, so I guess stem cell research does work. Meanwhile upstairs though, Captain Kirk hears Solish whistling from outside, so he goes outside, sees he's a zombie, and puts him out of his misery. Captain Kirk then decides to sacrifice himself, lighting a stick of dynamite, and takes himself and a bunch of zombies out with him. We're now down to 4, and they go back to the laboratory where they see a zombie floating inside a pool of blood, which Karma, for whatever fucking reason, just decides to shoot out of there, which reanimates the other zombies. Holy shit, that's gotta be the dumbest move in this whole movie. Luckily, they find a conveniently placed hatch like this is Saw 2 or something, and they decide to go down there, all except for Simon, who blows up some conveniently placed gunpowder to sacrifice himself and kill more zombies. So now our remaining 3 are in this underground railroad type deal, and they get confronted by motherfucking wall zombies. But then Karma sacrifices herself to take out the wall zombies, but then the remaining wall zombie is taken out by Greg, who's dressed like Lord Voldemort for some reason. Greg leads Rudy and Alicia to another lab where, oh shit, turns out that's not Greg, it's Emperor Palpatine in disguise wearing Greg's face. Also, random fun fact, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, which came out the same year, also had a pretty fun scene of someone wearing someone else's face. Don't know if that was coincidence or not. Turns out Emperor Palpatine, though, is actually Castillo's hermano, because remember, he's immortal, and he created the zombies, and we just get a recap of the backstory, yada yada yada. I guess the zombies are weak as shit, though, as Rudy and Alicia easily break free, and then just yeet on out of there and chuck a grenade down there and kill them all. Well, except for Palpatine, though, he's still alive. And then we get a very dramatic, very lame, very slow motion 2-on-1 sword fight. Palpatine knocks Rudy out with a backhand, which causes him to backflip, and then he stabs Alicia right through the titties. Rudy gets up, though, and decapitates Palpatine from behind, but apparently he's got the powers of Chucky from Child's Play, and his body is still alive and starts choking Rudy to death. And even though Alicia was literally stabbed for the heart, she just casually gets up and then stomps on Palpatine's head, which finally kills him, and then she just falls over and dies. Only she didn't die, because the next day the FBI or whatever show up to save them, and Rudy and Alicia are still alive. How? I don't know. Actually, I do know how, because according to Rudy in the epilogue, he was like, I gave Alicia the immortality potion. Where the hell he got that, I don't fucking know, but he had it, and he made her immortal. Why? I also don't know, but this movie's over, so who cares? This movie does deliver us one cool Easter egg, though, as at the end, Rudy is asked what his last name is, and he says Kurian, which was the name of the main character from the video game. But other than that, is there anything else positive I can say about this movie? Well, at least it had the common decency to only be 90 minutes? I guess that's a positive, because Birdemic was longer than this, and it felt long too. And yeah, this movie felt longer than 90 minutes, but to be fair, 90 minutes including the credits, so it was more like an hour 22, I think. So at least this movie had the decency to be short, because I was really afraid this was going to push 2 hours. But other than that, that's pretty much it for the positives, as this was just a giant pile of shit. Video game movies a lot of the time seem to have an unfortunate history of, you know, being low budget with poor acting and not a lot of effort put into it. Basically cash grabs, and this was pretty much a perfect example of that. It was a cash grab trying to make money off the House of the Dead name. But as stated earlier, they pretty much made no money, so I guess it didn't work. And the whole reason people latch on to bad movies a lot of the time, like The Room or Troll 2, is because even though they're bad, they're at least entertaining. But this isn't even bad in that way. It's just bad to be bad. There's not much entertainment about this. There's a couple of good characters, but they get murked early, and the plot is just non-existent. The zombies get fucking just slaughtered in this movie and made to look incredibly weak. Like, this one guy is supposed to be immortal, right? He's supposed to be immortal, he's been alive since the 15th century, he's been murking anybody and everybody, and then these random white people come in and just beat him and stomp on his head, and then that's it. Like, way to make your villain look weak as shit. So if you're looking to watch this movie for yourself past this review, I would say don't. Just don't do it. I'm already regretting having to watch it once. Once is enough for me, and watching this review should hopefully be enough for you. And again, I know there's 2 sequels, but they're completely unrelated and they were straight to TV/DVD, so I don't think I'll be looking at those unless Quaid makes me. But luckily for us, ladies and gentlemen, we will be going from one of the worst horror movies I've ever seen to one of the best I've ever seen next week as we take a look back at the original Friday the 13th. But that is going to do it from me today. I hope you enjoyed my House of the Dead review. I didn't that much, but I hope you did. Thank you everyone who watched. If you liked it, be sure to like it. If you didn't like it, don't. All my social media links are in the description down below, as well as the names of all 52 of my Patrons who help support me and both my channels. Thank you guys. With all that being said, my name is Noah Taff. This has been my review of House of the Dead. Why You Do This, Quaid, and I'll see you guys next time.